Good morning and welcome back to Spurs Latest. I am your host, Trip Graham. So happy to have you here. Got so much to talk around the NBA. Big weekend for our Spurs. Let's dive right into it. So, first, huge game against the Clippers. One of our most memorable wins of the season, absolutely, winning 116 to 112. After a really struggling bust the first half, we came back and pulled that out of nowhere, pulled that really out of our hats in the first and second quarter, we were only up to 46 points. In the final half, we scored 70 in that second half. Wemby was huge down the stretch. Was clearly the most exhausted I've ever seen Wemby. And I bet a lot of you would agree with that. He definitely looked like he was reeling on the court. He was definitely past that 40-minute threshold. I didn't see the exact minutes of the game, but it was a huge win against the Clippers. I do give the Clippers props. They get rid of James Harden, bring in Garland. This is definitely a roster changeover for them. And they're doing good, but they're not doing great. I don't see them being a viable threat in the postseason, definitely. It's going to be very tough for them going forward. You know, Kawhi Leonard did go off in this game, over 30 points, 9 rebounds, and I think like 5 assists in this game. But Wemby, stole the show. 27 points, 10 rebounds. And De'Aaron Fox is, like I said, really honing this offense in. He's really getting our offense together to, work in this diligent manner. One of the biggest things is if we have that veteran presence commanding the floor. And I think the biggest thing with having De'Aaron Fox is that he, even though it doesn't have the postseason, um, record and stats, he is going into the postseason with about 10 years of NBA under his belt. And he's commanding the offense very well for Wemby at this point. He is definitely my unspoken MVP of the season. We would not be at the point where we are without De'Aaron Fox and his commanding of the offense. Him and Wemby just pair so well together. And I look forward to this, combo for years to come. I know we signed Fox under a 5-year contract last year. So him being the true leader of the floor general, the leadership role, while Wemby is the superstar, is just a great formula for success. Fox is just sees the floor so well. His crisp pass and really, really threads the needle on some of them. Just an amazing ball player that really big fan of having Fox on our floor. Um, and I will say, Champagny is quite the three-point shooter at this point of his career. Wow, he has really stepped up for the plate for us. Really exciting young player. And I want him to continue his success into the postseason. You always need those role players that know how to play right. And Champagny is definitely one of them. Fox just really works well with Champagny and the other guards, especially Castle, to create that 1-2 punch of point guards of you don't know where the ball is coming from for the assist. Really, really love that how we play with Fox and Castle on the floor together. You know, especially them two on the floor together. Wemby just continues to do these highlight reel dunks, and he is one of the most, if not the most exciting player on the planet. I don't know if you guys saw, but a quote from Jaylen Brown the other day. Jaylen Brown, one of the most confident players in the league, obviously a top 5 MVP candidate, said about Wemby. Hey, he said about Jaylen Brown, he said, I'm the best player, the best human player on this world, 1-2, offense, defense player on this world. But Wemby's not from this world, so I don't even put him in the category. And that's exactly right. Wemby has just got a skill set that no one else can touch with his size. And Jaylen Brown's highlighting this. Like, as much skill as you can possibly have in this league, you can't have the physical attributes like Wemby and do what he's doing. Truly the one-of-one player that we've ever seen like this. So really cool quote coming from Jaylen Brown on that. All right, next game. Let's talk about the next game. Yesterday, we went against one of my favorite players, Kevin Durant. And we surged in this victory. We really killed them last night. They're definitely down. The Rockets are definitely down going into the postseason. It's going to be very tough for them to make a good postseason run, especially with their 2 injuries. Biggest injuries is Dylan Brooks. Obviously has a broken hand and is out for the rest of the regular season. We'll see if they can get him back into the playoffs. But he's also dealing with off the court troubles, getting arrested for DUI. For I believe I'm not sure what the DUI was for, but that traffic footage came out. Go watch that. Everyone should definitely go watch that video. Um, so yeah, Dylan Brooks off the court struggles as well as on the court struggles. And then the other big thing for the Rockets, I know it's a little older by now, but Steven Adams is out for the year. That is just their center. It's going to be really backup center, really tough. Sengun is not that good. I did not enjoy watching Sengun play yesterday. I am maybe anti Sengun, possibly big crybaby out on the court and doesn't get the production. People call him Baby Jokic. I don't see it. I could see flashes here and there, but to be called a Jokic, you got to be doing special, and he doesn't show any special flashes that I'm really impressed with. One player I'm really, really impressed with over on the Rockets is Thompson. Thompson is just an unbelievable defender. One of the best defenders in the league, definitely. Definitely one of the top 3 defensive defenders, up there with Derek White, I think, with the Celtics. Thompson is just all over the floor. You need to be knowing where he is at all moments when you're on offense. He is just he pickpocketer. He is a great defender. He does not lose his place when he's guarding his defender, when he keeps him in front of him. He just sees the court so well. Seems like he slows down play on defense, and it really works to his advantage of taking advantage of the offense and making them very uncomfortable. That Thompson with defense with Durant offense is just unbelievable combo. I just don't think it's enough for them. Thompson did light up the scoreboard yesterday. He went from 23 points, 7 rebounds, but their offense came from nowhere. They were very stagnant. They were up a point on us in the first quarter, but after that second quarter, we scored 37 and then 41 in the third and didn't let off the gas. 35 in the last quarter. Their defense was abysmal. Our offense was humming. Victor Wembanyama couldn't miss. 9 of 13 with 9 of 10 from the free throw line with 7 rebounds and offensive rebounds, so good with that. And then Fox is, still commanding the floor. Just unbelievable game again from him. So very happy with this weekend turnout. 9-game home winning streak, I think, at this point. Only 1 game loss since January at this point now. Only 1 loss, finished the entire month of February without a loss. 1 month loss in February. We're still kicking ourselves for that Knicks game. So, yeah, we just have been on a surge. And what's coming up next is the Boston Celtics, which are red hot at this point of the season. They have just gotten back Jason Tatum. And, that offense was already humming. That defense with Derek White and Kakeda, who has been a rising star for the Celtics, playing their center role, has just been unbelievable. Other things with those Celtics that I'm looking out for. Vucevic did get injured for the Celtics. He's their newest player, traded for Anthony Simons from the Bulls. So we'll see how they can do. Kakeda has to step up for the Celtics. So one thing that I look out of our Spurs is definitely expose that. I look for Wemby to get to the paint as much as he can. We can't be hosting up these 3 balls. We're going to have to play to our styles of offense. I think it's a run and gun against the Boston Celtics, who can be slow at times. They are one of the slowest paced teams in the league. So one of the biggest things for us is just to keep up the momentum, keep on that pressure on the Boston Celtics. You cannot let Jaylen Brown get into a rhythm. At this point, with Jason Tatum getting back, I would try to make Tatum as uncomfortable as possible. Really force the ball into his hand at this point. It's only his 3rd game back. Had 2 really good opening games. But one of the biggest things, he's probably playing at about 80% right now. He's not putting it all out on the line. Obviously, playoffs is when he's going to unleash himself of how he can play 100%. So I look to take advantage of things like that. Got to look at their spot down 3-point shooters and Hauser and Peyton Pritchard. I did get to see some of the Celtics game yesterday, which was a great game. Really great game against the Cavs. Eastern Conference matchup. Watch that. James Harden stunk it up. And I will say one thing about watching James Harden yesterday. His defense is one of the worst in the league. Watching him play defense, I would be screaming if I was coach. The amount of defenders that he lets just cross him up and pass by him at ease, it doesn't seem like they're not even trying to get past him. It's very easy for defenders to get past James Harden. But then James Harden does James Harden things. As much as I'm complaining about him, then he goes out and hits a full court assist down the court to, I believe, Evan Mobley for a dunk from the opposing 3-point line. Just unbelievable. Even opposing maybe free throw line. Unbelievable play right there. But again, I just can't stand having James Harden on my team. He just bounces around so much. Then off the court struggles is too much of wanting to bounce around. But when he's on the court, he just is such a lazy player. Donovan Mitchell really had to carry the load for the Cavs yesterday as they lost to the Boston Celtics. Celtics do look to be one of the top seeds in the teams in this league, and I see them being a better team, a much better team than the Knicks, the Cavs, and the one team that I really do look out for is the Pistons. One of the Pistons coach that even said, which I worry that it's going to give Boston fuel, is Pistons coach that said, "Hey, I'm not worried about the Boston Celtics." I think he should be worried about the Boston Celtics. Maybe you won't have to play him to the Eastern Conference Finals if you get there. But God, they are a wagon, and I would just be looking out for the Boston Celtics. Everyone should be on notice about them going into the postseason, with Tatum especially back and only getting healthier as the season goes on. So we'll see. It's going to be a really fun game. So last thing, after the weekend, I do want to just do a check-in on the standings. We still not moving anywhere. The OKC still continued their dominant streak at 50-15. Really amazing season they are having from them. Where our Spurs are 47-17. An extremely good 47-17. It's a far drop off to the third seed in the Western Conference with Minnesota at 40-24. And then Houston at 39-24. I'm really interested in how Denver and the Lakers are playing right now. Both of them are 39-25, 10.5 games back, both of them. And they're not making it easy on themselves going to the postseason. Phoenix is creeping up behind. And, one thing I'm looking at is Phoenix is only 2 games behind the Lakers and Denver. And if they can, surge to get that last spot in the playoffs out of the play-in, it's going to be tough for LA or Denver to make a long run in the playoffs for sure. Golden State is definitely reeling. I would be worried about playing the Clippers in the playoffs. Of the 4, playing teams. It's the Phoenix, Golden State, Clippers, and Portland. I do see Clippers making it out if that was the gauntlet for that play-in team. So what do you guys think? Who do you see making out of the play-in tournament out of the West? My money would be on the Clippers if how they're playing right now. Kawhi Leonard, never doubt on Kawhi Leonard going into the playoffs. Things out of the East. Celtics are surging number 2 in the East, so it's number 2 versus number 2 tomorrow night for Boston Celtics versus our San Antonio Spurs. Some of the saddest teams in this league. I mean, the bottoming out of our league is insane right now. Teams that are tanking. We got a 3-way tank fest in the East right now. Brooklyn is 16-47. Washington is 16-47. And Indiana is 15-49. If I'm Tyrese Halliburton and I don't have a promise from the team next year that we're turning the ship around, I'm out of there. If I'm Tyrese Halliburton, I'm in my prime right now, and your team can't go get 20 wins on a season when I'm out, where the Boston Celtics are doing what they're doing without Jason Tatum, come on. If I'm Tyrese Halliburton, I am putting my big boy pants on, going to that front office and demanding what they are going to be doing for next season, because this is not cutting it if I was Tyrese Halliburton. Washington obviously has some good things coming up for them. Alex Sarr is a good player. I really like Alex Sarr. I've been watching him a lot this season. But, Trae Young and Anthony Davis come back next season. Some of the most injury-prone players in the league. Anthony Davis, has not stepped on the court to play for Washington yet this season. Trae Young just starting to come back for that team, just playing his first games, I believe, this week for Washington. Just an absolute awful lineup between those 3 teams of how bad they have been this season. Truly bad for the NBA having teams like that. If I have our Spurs on, it's kind of a game. Even how much I love our Spurs, it's a game of like I only want to watch the first half. If we're blowing them up by 30, they take out all their starters and they don't even try. So it's not even a game. Like it's really not a game. You got to play the game. In college football, any given Sunday, that's and that's actually NFL. Any given Sunday, I really believe that mantra, and I hate that teams don't try to win. Regulation might have to become a thing. All right, well, that's all I have from us today at Spurs Latest. I will be here tomorrow to give you a more in-depth look at the Spurs versus Celtics, which is happening tomorrow night. Huge game out of the two seeds out of the East and West. So that's all I have it from here today. Go Spurs, go, and I'll see you in the next one.